Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Star Road Podcast, video edition number 2. Here with my friend Tyler. How are you doing, bro?
Sterling, I couldn't be happier to be here. I say it every time, and every time it's true.
You do say that pretty much every time.
Like I said, it's always true. I love hopping on webcam and just BSing with you for an hour or two, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, even off the cam, man.
Yeah, definitely. Although we didn't do too much gaming together like we normally would the last couple weeks. It's been a little bit busy.
Yeah, but we did get to play through the courses.
We did.
Which is a big news thing today.
Yeah, we got a lot of Mario Kart talk today.
We're actually doing a retrospective for the discussion topic.
Yeah, the future of Mario Kart is kind of like the subheading. That's what we want to be speculating on.
Yeah, but we're also going to run down just the essentials of the series, you know what I mean?
Yeah, really excited for that.
And the top 5 is one, I've said it about many others. I can't believe we haven't done it yet.
I know.
And
one of these days we're going to accidentally duplicate ourselves.
Nah, it's never going to happen. I'm not going to let it.
I hope not.
Nah, but top 5 most replayable games. We talk about replayability being a big thing.
Yeah, the big thing, definitely. I mean, this is a criteria that we hold very highly when we're talking about games that we recommend to people and just enjoy.
Definitely. And like I said, this could have been a top 20.
Really could have,
There's just so many games that can go on this list, but narrowing it down, I told Tyler earlier, I think I'm predicting like 50-50 overlap. I think we're going to pick some of the same games.
We'll see. I'm interested to see how it turns out.
Definitely. But how about we dive straight into the news with Kirby and the Forgotten Land?
Oh, man. We waited so long for this, and we even speculated on this. It's so funny. We've been doing the podcast for over a year now, and like we have speculated on a lot of things that have come to pass. And I feel like a 3D or a 3D Kirby game is something that we talked about, before, and then it kind of just came to fruition.
I wonder if that's something we've talked about on the podcast. I can't remember specifically.
I feel like it has to be.
But that would be very interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
But to see this come to fruition and the presentation of it reminds me of Luigi's Mansion 3. The production quality, the graphical quality of it. It's
just the polish level, yeah.
Exactly. It's on that full-blown Nintendo gave it everything they had.
For sure.
Wavelength. And it's a beautiful game. I think we might have to do a review with more time. I guess we'll see. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But given more time with the game, we would have done a review.
Probably, yeah.
A gleaming review at that.
So far, man, yeah. I have only played through the first few levels. Did a co-op last night. But I've really enjoyed it so far. It's just like pure bliss. That's all I can really say. Like,
I actually haven't played it alone yet. Me and my girl co-op through the whole first world, and the shout out to Treasure Road. I was texting you, man. Kirby got his own Star Road. Those types of speed run challenges. That's what I live for.
I love that too. Just a little change up every once in a while. Like I really like those too. When you texted me about it before I got to play the game, and then actually last night getting into them, I was like, oh yeah, Sterling was right. This is awesome.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's amazing.
But yeah, really excited to get deeper into the game. Excited to get into it solo. I haven't played it yet solo either. And just to see it open up and get past the initial the initial just sort of like learning all the different mechanics and everything into the actual like richer levels with more going on and stuff. I'm really excited.
Yeah, going straight out of the gate with it though, I'm blown away.
Definitely.
I think it's a fantastic game, and I love that as modernized as it is presented to us, it still stays so true to all the Kirby games you played.
Definitely. It feels very straightforward and streamlined.
And I'm kind of explaining the not that there's very intricate things about Kirby, but just the intricacies of the game, what everything does. And, as I'm explaining it to my girl, it's funny how explaining it in Forgotten Land, it almost is the same explanation when you play like 8-bit Kirby. It's the same mechanics. They apply the same way, just in a 3D space. And it's an amazing thing, dude. We've been waiting for this game. I mean,
yeah, and absolutely.
This is the 35th anniversary. Like I said, I would love to see a Kirby collection come out. Just drop some type of Kirby Legacy collection of some sort.
That would be amazing. We're supposed to get Crystal Shards on the Switch Online, or it's already out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it already out? Dude.
I feel like I'm totally losing it.
I feel like I'm losing it too.
I
don't think so.
I don't think it is.
I mean, we have Majora's Mask and F-Zero.
Majora's Mask is what came out. Yeah. But we have Kirby coming out before long, hopefully. So that's a big one.
I was just playing Crystal Shards recently, dude. That's one of those N64 games you just can't put down. You have to force yourself to get off it.
Definitely. It's just feels so natural.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about this Mario Kart wave of DLC content that we just got, Tyler.
I would love to.
This is the first wave of the Booster Course Pass. And look, I've seen some things on the internet, a lot of people saying a lot of things. Going into it blind, you and I playing the courses, I loved them. I had a great time.
Me too. Really? What are people saying? I'm curious. That's interesting.
I've been seeing a lot of critical content about lazy models on the environment and like textures and things like that.
That never occurred to me at all. Running through GPs.
Yeah, I'm not really stopping and chilling on the side of the road. I'm really playing the game, so these types of things, I guess, I wouldn't notice. Nor do I care about them, honestly.
I was pretty blown away by the overall visuals of stuff like Choco Mountain. Just seeing that really brought into into this era for the first time, like to that level. We have not seen
first wave. I get my favorite course.
Yep. So I'm really excited to see what else comes. I actually ran through both GPs right before we hopped on today. With my fiance, and we just ran through them both really quickly. I wanted to have them fresh on my mind for this.
Yeah, I did finish the Lucky Cat that we dropped in the middle of.
Yeah, I just ran through both of them.
Awesome, dude. But I loved them. I thought the courses were great. Like I told you, Sky Garden, seeing that in its glory.
Unbelievable, man. I was going to bring that up too.
I just remember that being one of my favorite courses on Super Circuit.
Definitely.
And that was, a lot more on the Super Nintendo vibe than, 3D Mario.
Yeah, they did a lot, though.
They did, man. They really did. And even the courses from the mobile game, are cool. Any new courses for this are awesome.
Definitely. They can do any amount of stuff, man. And what I wrote down for our discussion that we'll get to here shortly. I want to talk about courses that we're hoping to see from the next installments of these.
Oh.
So start chewing on that as we get there.
Yeah, I appreciate the heads up. I definitely am. But we are going to list off the ones that we got, because as these waves come, this is going to be perfect news for us,
Yep.
So we got the Golden Dash Cup, which was Coconut Mall from Wii. I personally, that's the only Mario Kart that I've never actually sat down and played is Mario Kart Wii. But I love watching the game being played. I think it looks amazing.
Coconut Mall has a reputation, even if you've never played the game.
Absolutely.
It almost felt natural to dive in and play that course just because I've seen it in Summoning Salt videos and just other videos, like seen it being played so many times.
And anything with the Delfino vibe is hitting you straight in the heart.
No question.
So Chaco Mountain N64, you already know what's up. That was incredible. You got to experience my first eyes on that, when we played together. Paris Promenade from Tor, thought it was pretty sick. Toad Circuit from Mario Kart 7. Anything from Mario Kart 7 is welcome in this game.
I'm on that.
Absolutely. The Lucky Cat Cup, we got Shroom Ridge from DS. I told you how hype I was on this.
That was a very nice looking course for sure.
Yeah, and that's one of the ones that's getting the most hate with the visuals.
Really?
Yeah. With the textures on the mushrooms and whatnot. Talking about, they use one color as a texture. I mean, this is the type of shit we would never stop and,
I feel like it's supposed to be stylized to the original game. Like, it's not meant to be. I don't even think it's. I don't even think it's meant to be sat down and even discussed. Honestly, I think it's silly. Just it just is what it is. But Sky Garden, GBA, Super Circuit, you already know. Yep.
Super Circuit is fantastic. That's just having a Mario Kart on Game Boy was awesome. Tokyo Blur from Tor, Ninja Hideaway from Tor.
Man, that Ninja Hideaway course is awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, it's got a lot going on. It feels perfect to be at the end of that GP because it's like, it's got the complexity of like a Bowser level. You know what I mean? It's got a lot to do. But I'm looking forward
to what else we get, dude. I feel like they're doing a great job peppering in like 50-50 old school shit with new shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna pan out well because there's never gonna be any disappointment as long as they keep the old iterations in the mix.
We got more Mario Kart to talk about.
Oh, we definitely do. But we had a couple of little points on the news they wanted to talk about. A trailer came out for a game called Curse to Golf. And I sent this immediately over to Tyler.
Yeah, you know me, man.
For obvious reason, the game is a golf platformer.
Sold. Don't. That's all I need to know.
With cards involved, that's just the icing on the cake.
That's done. That's a done deal.
It's a done deal. Yeah. So we didn't get a date on that. Actually, Tyler pointed out to me just before we started recording how funny it is that the title was release date announcement. Correct.
The release date announcement trailer.
Yeah,
that was the name of the video.
The release date we got was coming summer 2022.
Summer.
Pretty vague.
Very much in the vein of Valve's release schedule of large swaths of time.
Yeah, so I guess we'll be looking out for that. I mean, it looks like a great game.
Definitely.
You're kind of stationary and you're kind of like shooting for holes it looks like it would be platforms that you would normally navigate, but you're really hitting a golf ball to navigate them.
The first thing that came to my mind with the way that the levels were laid out was like Celeste. Like you have these different screens and you have to kind of like platform your way through them, but you're just doing it with a golf ball instead of jumping.
Yeah. Anytime the alternative is yeeting a golf ball, I'm usually into that.
Definitely.
So we'll be looking forward to that. Another trailer we got after that from Nintendo, the Outbound Ghost.
Yeah. It looks like a lot like Paper Mario. Like that's
when we say a lot like, I feel like the text boxes and the text really was like straight from Origami King.
All of it is.
I mean, that's really, not even hating, man. Honestly,
not at all.
I love the way this game looks.
Yeah, I think so. And it has that RPG turn-based fighting system like we love, as opposed to the crazy stuff from Origami King.
Yeah, one of the things I picked up on that Steam sale that I didn't go through was Bug Fables, the Everlasting Sapling. That's a game I've been dying to dive into because a lot of people have said a lot of good things about that being an optimal Paper Mario experience. Like what you want with the combat paired with the visual style and the witty humor with the, dialogue and whatnot.
It looks like this is going to be in that same ballpark.
Absolutely. This literally looks like a mod for Origami King.
It does.
And like I said, that's not hating. I'm into that. I'm totally here for it.
Definitely.
And I highly doubt it's going to be $60.
True. You know what I realized? Sorry to derail.
No, what's up?
I realized that maybe I was the only one who didn't know this, but Switch Sports, is that the name of the game? Nintendo Switch Sports?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's $39.99.
Oh, so it's not a $60 game.
Yep, I went to the store page for it today, just to have a look at it, and $39.99. I was really that makes me infinitely more likely to pick it up earlier.
I gotta tell you, Tyler. I mean that changes things.
That changes things for sure, and you know, we talk about, for me, golf coming at, you know, in fall as their second update or whatever. We'll have to see. $40, man. If it entertains a room full of people at some point, you know what I mean? That's all you really need.
I don't know, man. I think for $39.99, and then you talking about the golf update coming, that sounds like a simple purchase.
Yeah.
And actually,
I want my Joy-Cons repaired before that game
send them off, man. Yeah. I think I mentioned that I wanted to buy a new pair just so me and my girl both had newer, you know, working pairs, so we could send off 2 other sets to get fixed, you know. Mm-hmm. And can't find them, man. Can't find Joy-Cons.
It's crazy.
But I'm on the hunt for the purple and the orange. That's what the ones I want.
Should have got them when they were. I'm talking about myself, like, and I'm sure you feel the same way. Like, should have got them sooner.
Yeah, but I mean, I would have never expected there'd be some type of shortage everywhere around me, you know. But anyway, we have gaming and pickups to get into, which we do from time to time. I'm aware of one seriously huge thing on Tyler's side, so why don't you start off for us, Tyler?
Which thing are you referring to, so I can just get it
I'm
in straight away?
referring to a cartridge.
Oh.
Containing a legend.
Yes. Okay, sure. Yeah. Pokemon Stadium 2. I purchased this game from an online marketplace for a pretty reasonable price. And it arrived to me the other day, and I played some mini games and just experienced pure bliss. I couldn't be more excited to. This is the one N64 game that I truly felt like I couldn't live without, that I didn't already have. And I really mean that. I don't see myself purchasing any other N64 games in the near future. It's not like it's ever going to be any cheaper, right? Not anytime soon. So,
nope.
Yeah. Basically completed what I feel like I need to own for N64 for the time being. So, pretty happy with that. Going to start working on some of the cartridges, like some of the. I want to have a Pokemon on my cartridges that I can play in the mini games. That's like my Pokemon for every mini game. That's my ultimate goal.
Oh, I see. I thought you were talking about further collecting of cartridges.
No. So like, I want to be able to pop in one of a couple cartridges for any given mini game on Pokemon Stadium 1 or 2 and play with my Pokemon from the cartridge. I think that'd be pretty sweet.
Definitely.
Beyond that goal, that's pretty much it on the retro front. Picked up Inscription, which you put me on, another card-based roguelike game, which to start off with, that's all you needed to tell me to get me to buy. But there's a whole lot more to it that I apparently don't know about and am not going to find out about until I beat the first section of the game. So we'll TBD on that, but I like what I've played so far. It's really, really fun. Yeah,
and did you pay $19.99 for it?
Yeah.
I should have hit you up sooner because I got it for $13.99, like the day after we recorded last.
That's okay. I felt comfortable to pay this, especially to someone like Devolver, where it's a small company. No issue for me.
Shout out to Devolver too, dude. This was great. And
yeah, I mean, I'm 2 for 2. I played Loop Hero and loved it. Played this and loved it. So, any other games of theirs that you recommend to me, I feel like it's a safe pickup. Pretty much anytime.
There's quite a few that you've probably played and just don't remember are Devolver.
That's probably true.
They've got a lot of quality games. I mean, everybody should know a title or two at least, But I was thinking about this, and I love Inscription. I can't wait to talk about what the game evolves into just when you get to that. Because I was pretty blown away at the transformation that this game undergoes. The marketing is very... like I said, it's actually a bold move to market the game the way they did because it's so much more than what you would think you're paying for up front,
I love that, though.
Yeah.
It's almost like an experimental thing.
Since Special Reserve Games does work with Devolver, I could see Inscription being one of the next Reserve titles
That'd be awesome.
And that's something I'd probably be interested in. So
I would say so. It's not even on the Switch right now.
What?
Inscription.
Is it not? That should be coming if it isn't. But that's a good point. They do PC stuff sometimes, but it's definitely more Switch.
Well, that doesn't mean that it would never be on there, right?
Yeah. And actually, I got an update on my Loop Hero from Special Reserve. May 2022 is apparently the ship date. Yep. And then for Quake, the limited run Deluxe I had gotten, ship date Q1. So that should be shipping within 4 days if it hasn't already. But you'd like to see that. Q1. I don't know.
Definitely. Last quick things I'll run through. Playing a ton of Rocket League lately. Been playing a ton of Pokemon. Got to Reminisce Park on Brilliant Diamond. Caught a couple legendaries. You really have to grind the underground to be able to complete that. So that's going to take actually quite a lot of time investment, which no issue for me. Like, I feel like grinding out the underground on that game is something that's so cozy to do, just handheld, just kind of running through it, run into one of the areas, catch some Pokemon, come back out, keep digging. It's pretty chill. I'm really enjoying that, but haven't made much progress into it. I feel like there's probably... Oh, and Triangle Strategy. I've been playing that like every day. I'm on chapter, I don't even know, 12 or 13, somewhere in there.
Oh, good shit, dude.
Yeah, and the story is awesome, man. It's incredible. The game gets much harder. I'm on a fight that I've now lost 3 times. I still haven't beaten it.
Oh, is that the same one you were telling me about?
Yeah, I still haven't beaten it, so I don't mind that. I always talk about how much I enjoy difficulty in games, so it doesn't bother me. Just going to have to get creative and, figure out a strategy that's going to get me there. There's a lot that goes into this game.
I just finished some looming gaming goals, so now I can get back to Triangle Strategy. But did you want to talk about the Boomer Shooter Humble Bundle?
Please. I just saw this and recommended it to you because I saw it was several of your favorite games, but I know that most of these are games that you're about to talk about anyway.
Well, yeah, one of them for sure. Yesterday I achieved 2 things I wanted to accomplish before the weekend was over. I just so happened to do them in the same day. Completely finished Ion Fury, completely finished Pharaoh, Power Slave Exhumed. And loved both of them, honestly. The Boomer Shooter bundle that Tyler pointed me to, he now owns Dusk, Ion Fury, Hrot, shout out to H-Rot, The Legacy. And what was the other one I sent you? There was a 4th game. You got visuals on that?
Not known to me right this second.
Well, something else. And there was 4 things that I could keep that I didn't have, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But it's nice because you got a couple games that you were interested in anyway, right? So
Yeah, definitely. A Medieval, that was one of them I was interested in. Another great New Blood game I've heard a lot about. And Dread Templar, that game. Hedon Bloodright, and then Hellbound. I think that was the ones I kept.
Yeah, apparently I'm out of the loop on this. Apparently boomer shooter is a legit term.
Absolutely.
And I had just never heard this. We always referred to them on this podcast as just like 90s style first person shooters, right? Or just like, well, I mean, yeah, I really don't know how else we would describe it. Just like Doom style shooters.
It's boomer shooters at the end of the day.
Boomer shooters at the end of the day, yeah.
But I love them. I feel like I said, man, Quake inspired me to play shit older than it. And I got into build engine stuff and, just all these other shooters I would have never gotten into.
Yep.
And that's like a cozy place for me.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I really wish they would do is, I know there's a petition on GOG to get them to bring them back, but they had these old first-person shooters, Terminator FPS games. I think it was System Shock and Skynet.
Mm.
And they were like mid-90s, but like really cutting edge as far as 3D environment with that, pre-rendered hand type of deal.
Yeah.
I would love to have those games come back and be playable, but they kind of aren't like on any front end right now.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. But the petition is going strong, so let's hope for that. That's a cool thing about GOG. I haven't been on GOG much, but there's a lot of petitions up and running that have actually gotten games on there.
Yeah, that's nice.
There's just an option for people to show interest,
Yeah, that's cool.
But that's about it for gaming and pickups, man. We got a big retrospective to get into, the Mario Kart retrospective and the speculation of the future of Mario Kart.
Past, present, and future.
Then there's a lot to talk about because Mario Kart is a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Feel free to take us in from the beginning if you want to go chronologically.
I just thought we'd talk about our first experiences with Mario Kart. I mean, obviously, the series started with Super Nintendo, Super Mario Kart. This wasn't my introduction into the series. I didn't get to play it on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, me
64, however,
same.
That was both of our introduction.
Big time, yeah.
Big time.
And probably I don't know if it'll be my most played. It was my most played in early, younger childhood, for sure. And most played probably socially, like with other people.
Yeah, if I had an overall time counter on these games, 64 and DS would be peaking the charts. But 64, I mean, the nostalgia's there with hardly anything like with that game.
64 is it's what made the franchise what it is, right? Like 64 set the standard for the camera angle, the physics, the format and everything, and just what the levels would eventually consistently be styled around, right? Like Super Mario Kart, it was just different. It was just on more of a planar situation. There was not as much elevation change.
Yeah, but there's one thing present in 64 that we love, and that's the pre-rendered graphics.
I'm a big fan of this.
Almost wouldn't have it any other way, not honestly. That contrast to me. It's something that used to not be super appealing to me, but I got older. And to me, this like lower poly 3D with pre-rendered shit on it.
The rare look. It's like the rare.
I just love it, dude.
Look.
And that's why when I talk about the build engine games, I love that clash of like the, early 3D environments with like a pre-rendered, pixel hand.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you.
Something about that is just very attractive,
Even as far back as like Mortal Kombat arcade games.
And that's probably the most popular usage of it, and I don't ever think of that first.
But that's the exact like
But
originator
you're right.
of this concept.
Absolutely. Now, Double Dash is something you could do your whole solo podcast on, I'm sure.
This is the definite Mario Kart game I have the most playtime on by far. This is a game that I completed 100%ed more than one time. So, you know, I know the game backwards and forwards. I think it's a revolutionary concept that they brought to the franchise. I really, you know, I think they did a lot in that game that they haven't done since. The battle mode, I think, was the best it's ever been. And just the whole like 2 racers to a kart mechanic. It's not something they've done since then. It didn't fundamentally change anything about the way that the races, you know, took place. It just enhanced them slightly.
Yeah.
So,
and it was a really, really fun co-op touch.
oh my gosh, co-oping 2 people on the same cart is unparalleled. It doesn't get more fun than that.
No, because the formula is ever changing. You get to have the best of both worlds and swap as you please. Yep. So it's
on the
just,
fly.
You know, it's a beautiful thing. Moving on to DS. This is one I really spent a lot of time with, Tyler. Sometimes I'd wipe my data on my cartridge just to redo everything, to get 3 stars on all the missions, all the Grand Prix, all of that, you know, because it's so fun grinding that. And this is one I love to see courses from, like on this new booster pass course booster situation.
They really started going wild with the courses, like starting with DS, I feel like.
Yeah, I could see a lot of great like DS courses, which there have been many already done in Mario Kart since then. They always pay good homage to the DS iteration. Now the Wii one, did you play? No?
Nope.
I know it's sacrilegious, but because a lot of people say this is the best Mario Kart.
I should pick it up. I feel like I should pick it up and play it on my Wii U.
Definitely. I think you should.
I could pick it up digitally for another 6 months.
I'm sure it's not the priciest either.
I'll have to check into that. I feel like that would be a good thing to own, to purchase from the Wii U shop before it's gone. But then again, I also wouldn't mind owning it physical either.
I would go for physical. I mean,
I feel like I can't
have a
Mario
Kart game.
I can't have a hard time finding it. Like Wii and Wii U games are dirt cheap in most cases. And I'm here for that as a Wii U owner.
Absolutely. I would love to play Mario Kart Wii though, and
I've heard nothing but amazing things about it.
We watch a lot of Summoning Salt, so I mean, you know, we've seen a lot about the game, and I love what I see. Now, Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS is one we both have put time into and love dearly. That I can say.
Yeah, I have a lot of time into my save file on 3DS for sure.
Like Mario
only
Kart
just
7
recently though, only in the last couple years.
It is a powerful substitute if you don't have 8 Deluxe or a Switch.
Yeah, I mean, it's the perfect,
powerful substitute.
Yeah. For 3DS, I mean, for handheld at that point, I mean, the Switch completely changes it up, right? But in terms of your classic handheld, it's as good as the Mario Kart experience has been. In terms of just polish.
It's to me, it's like a console experience on a handheld.
No question.
That's how I see Mario Kart 7.
I completely agree. I played 8 first. I played 8 on the Wii U. I played 8 on the Switch, and then I played 7 on the 3DS. And in no way did I feel like 7 was inferior at all.
Yeah, see, I played 7 long before I played 8 Deluxe, which I got immediately when I got a Switch. And, you know, it was pretty mind-blowing playing it, but you don't get that vibe of it being such a drastic jump, like from DS to like GameCube.
Not at all. I mean, to the point where they could have called, you know, Mario Kart 8 could have been Mario Kart 7 Deluxe,
Yeah,
with more stages. I mean, the
totally.
mechanics feel so similar.
Yeah, they still have like the flying and the different things, the newer terrain based features. But here we are with 8 Deluxe. I mean, it was on the Wii U, it's on the Switch. We get this DLC that's coming in 2 years worth of waves. And the question is, what are we left here to think, Tyler? I mean,
well, let's pull up some notes. I have some thoughts. So we've talked a lot about Mario Kart, on this podcast. I mean, we've done topics, we've done top fives. Here we are once again talking Mario Kart. I have a few thoughts. First of all, as it pertains to the booster pass, are there any courses that you feel like you have to have? I alluded to this earlier. I want to touch on what we have in front of us immediately before we get too far flung into the future.
Any that I have to have.
That's like, for me to really feel like I got everything I wanted. I feel like yours is Choco Mountain almost.
Oh, that made me so happy just out the gate. I'm a little flustered about thinking of what else I want,
Understandable.
If they haven't done the Moo Moo Farms or Moo Moo Meadows, those would be nice.
Yeah.
Of course, some of these, I'm sure they've been done in games, but perhaps they're not in 8 Deluxe. I mean,
right.
they could take courses that were already, they could remaster courses.
And they've done that before.
Yeah, so that I guess that puts a lot more on the table to choose
Definitely.
from.
Yeah. I would love to see DK Mountain from Double Dash.
Just about to say definitely.
Unbelievable course.
Whether it's been redone or not, bring it back.
I don't care. I mean, I feel like they have to,
Also, DK Jungle Raceway.
Absolutely.
I mean, in all of its glory.
No question.
Now, have we gotten a remastered version of that at all?
No, it's too janky to do again.
Too janky? I mean, I understand what you're saying, but
not for me.
The charm is immense.
The charm fits perfectly on N64.
I could interchange that with Choco Mountain if it didn't exist for that's an incredible track.
I think it's good too, man. I just feel like trying to imagine and they could make it work, obviously, but trying to imagine the spiky things coming in the bridge, in modern graphics. I don't know. I want it though. I would love to see it. That would be something that I would love to see in this booster pass.
Yeah, all this shit is legacy, dude. I mean, it's if they did it, then they can make it feel right. They can make it feel right now.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that for sure. Dino Jungle, that's another Double Dash one.
Yes.
That was in 7 as well, I believe.
I think so.
And I love that course. That's a great course.
Absolutely.
I don't know why it's always these jungle and mountain type levels. You give me a jungle and or a mountain, and that's where I want to be.
Give me Calamari Desert.
Definitely.
From 64.
Yep.
That's what I'm into. I want the train tunnel to be traversable.
Definitely. That's not authentic if it's not. If you can't just drive down there and I just walk you to telling you wrong way.
Give me an open world Calamari Desert. That's all. On the spot, I feel like I keep going to 64. That's what's funny about it.
Definitely.
Just the classics from 60. I feel like if this was all 64, I'd be happy.
I'm the same way with 64 and Double Dash. There's just so many great Double Dash levels that I love.
And the DS ones make me happy for sure. I almost wish they did some type of packs per system.
We don't know. There's still
blowout.
10. There's still 10 GPs to announce. That's 40 more courses. So there could very well be
a themed one, yeah.
One
or
from
two.
each system or something, or even just one that's all 7, one that's all Double Dash. They could easily do it.
I guess we'll see, man. I feel like they're all going to be mixed up.
I think so
good,
too,
though.
and that's how I think that is better. But it would be cool to see some packs grouped by console for sure.
Or just retro exclusive packs. All 8 of these are going to be throwbacks, I mean, that would be nice. Now, clearly we know there's going to be a Mario Kart 9. My question for you, but my question for you is, knowing that Nintendo overlaps things, they don't kill something and then dispose of it and then bring in the next new thing, right? So do you expect any type of overlap on this schedule of DLC and the launch of something new as far as hardware or anything of that nature? That's what I'm curious about with you. Because I don't see, I wouldn't put it past them to overlap these types of things. The install base is so large on the Switch. That's a big reason I say that, just straight off.
That's a great question. I don't see it overlapping, but it wouldn't be that strange if it did. Last time we talked about this booster pass, which was either last episode or the one before, I mentioned that I kind of equated it to songs on Rock Band. I don't know if I talked to you about this on or off the podcast, but like,
I remember talking about it.
I have songs purchased on Rock Band that I can put in Rock Band 1, 2, 3, or 4 and play them, right? So I almost feel like this booster pass is going to end up working the same way, where whatever the next iteration of Mario Kart is would retroactively have these courses. Maybe not right away, but like as a first or second update or something, like they're going to retroactively add all these courses, because I think the game is going to run, whatever the next Mario Kart game is, it's going to run in the same engine. And that's why they feel confident to make these courses now. I'm not saying the mechanics will be the same. I have some thoughts on that. We can get into that, but I think that the engine will be the same to where they feel comfortable spending dev time on these courses now, and then they can backfill the next game's library with these courses too and have extra content there.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. The question that pops in my mind to follow up on that is, do you even see a reasonable upgrade to the current Mario Kart 8 Deluxe presentation? I feel like it's so polished and so current even to this day. I don't see a reasonable upgrade. I almost don't see a reason for there to be a completely new ground up reworked Mario Kart. And this would just support what you're saying, basically. I mean, they could continue this engine.
I'm glad you asked this question, Sterling.
Well, I'm glad that you're glad.
I hinted just a second ago that I have a thought on what future mechanics could be like. So just picture a world where we have the Switch 2 Electric Boogaloo, and as a launch title, Mario Kart 9, or they call it something that's not 9. Who knows? It could be some totally different title. The next Mario Kart, right? What's the? I mean, you've got every new iteration of a console has a. I don't want to say. See, I'm on the cusp of saying a gimmick mechanic, right? But some sort of new mechanic that sets things apart. For the Switch, there was a lot of stuff, the handheld, the motion control, everything. The Wii, you had the pointing. Like, there's always something, right? So I feel like it's going to incorporate whatever that revolutionary mechanic is. And I could see, just as a sheer fanboy speculation, it being some sort of two-player mechanic whereby you have two players controlling one cart, so to speak, with two characters on it. And somehow you can, it's almost like a Double Dash style, but they're going to do more with it to where it has more dynamic gameplay. That's something that I could see happening.
That's very interesting.
But
you see a resurgence of this double dash type of gameplay is what you're saying.
I could see if their new mechanic is intended to be, multiplayer focused, that is something that is easy to do.
Definitely. And it's also something that we see a lot of revisiting going on, right? With a lot of things, a lot of going back to the roots of these franchises.
Say, for instance, you have two Joy-Cons, right? You have two racers, and each racer is tied to a Joy-Con, and they might have a cart that is modular, where each racer has their own kind of like mini cart, and the two kind of conjoin together, and they can maybe reconfigure into a glider, reconfigure into a submarine, and the two carts kind of like, you can have one person front and back. You know what I mean? It's almost like a totally customizable thing depending on who your racer is.
It's some mind-blowing shit.
I don't know. Something like that, but that's because I agree with what you're saying, that they have kind of perfected the base level Mario Kart formula, right? Like
absolutely
what we have in 8 Deluxe, it feels like the optimal way to play. So I think the next step is going to be something that's radically different.
And I think that makes perfect sense, because that's the only logical next step, is something totally different, because this formula we're talking about, it's maxed out.
Yep.
When I get on there and do my time trials and everything, I feel like God. And I just recently realized, since we got these cups, I can go back and 3-star these single player GP. I'm looking to do that. I mean, that's going to be a big thing for me, because I love the 3-star grind on any Mario Kart.
Word to the wise for a fellow co-op gamer, bro. I mean, I just did this today. Running these GPs in 2-player, you still get your stars.
You do, and also you get hella coins.
So I got my
coins.
I got my 50s done today for these 2 new courses, just because we played 50 just because that was the first one, right? And I wanted to take in the course as much as possible. Yeah, but yeah, I already got my 3 stars on both on the 50.
Oh shit, 50s that's the easiest shit, man.
Yeah, but that was like, it was perfect for playing with my fiance, right? And just taking absolutely. In the courses.
Definitely. Yeah, because we dove straight in,
150
speeding around. Yeah,
and I was getting crapped on. Like, by the way, for anyone who's curious, Sterling is much better at Mario Kart than me. I can come on the record and say that.
We don't have to go there. There's a lot of chance in Mario Kart and a lot of RNG involved.
It never matters.
I did place first every time, but that doesn't matter. There's a lot of RNG and a lot of strange things going on.
That's all right. You can, that's all good, man. Everybody is better at certain things. Like
I've spent a lot of time with 8 though. Like, you have to think, when we're talking about Mario Kart, when you get on every single one, the mechanics as far as the drifting and whatnot, completely different universes. No, I mean, me and you were just talking about this the other day, how to this day, I mean, we've been playing 64 our whole lives, one of our favorite games, and we're still like, what the fuck even is the drifting?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's how radically different these games are. I've gotten so accustomed to 8 Deluxe because of the time trial grind. I was so addicted to these developer ghosts they got on all the tracks, and I'm so far through. I need to just go back and finish that. But I got obsessed with that shit, man. And the more you play this, it just becomes so rudimentary.
You got to go see if there's one for Choco Mountain.
Oh, there definitely will be, and I'll be crushing that big time. Let's see.
The only other thought that I had on the future that so you have talked about Mario Kart Ultimate, right? Giving it the Smash treatment, where almost all of the courses are available. And by the time we get to the end of this pass, we may have that to some degree. We're not going to have every course, but we're going to have a lot of courses.
We're going to have something that amounts to what we talked about.
So the thought occurred to me independently of the courses, but I was thinking, what if the next step for the Kart franchise is making it more like a Smash, where instead of Mario Kart, now it's Nintendo Kart, where you have more representation from all franchises. And
See,
I feel like
now you're clicking with my brain.
they've already started this a little bit, right? When I was on the game earlier, I thought to take a screenshot. So in the game where there is 14, 28, 35, 41 characters, 6 of them are not from the Mario franchise. And I understand that those are part of the Deluxe and the DLC from the original games and stuff like that. But that's a pretty good chunk, right? I mean, and that's a lot of characters just on a base level. 41 plus your amiibo or your Mii. Like,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, dude, there's no denying it. And just the 6 that you're talking about, it's already locked in that they've made characters in the extended Nintendo universe acceptable in Mario Kart. I mean, it's now canon.
correct.
We have Animal Crossing, a whole course. We have a whole Zelda course that literally has rupees instead of coins.
Yep.
So they're literally...
And Splatoon. And we have
not
characters
just
from all
not
those
just
games.
incorporating the characters, but actually letting those games shape the overall big picture, which is kind of like what Smash does. I mean, Smash has elements of every single character that is playable. There's elements of that character strewn throughout the game everywhere.
Yep. And that's what people love. So I could see them still calling it Mario Kart just for that brand recognition, but having a much wider roster of characters, courses, branching out into other Nintendo IPs. If it's not a total mechanical overhaul like I was talking about, that's the other direction I could see them going off the top of my head.
It makes logical sense, man. I'll tell you what, they got a quick and easy $60 from me, whatever they decide to do.
No question.
But it's just exciting because we've got so much of this ahead of us. Just with the booster course, you know.
Definitely, man. I've really been enjoying the excitement around the booster pass. Just getting new Mario Kart courses. Like, who knows? Like, we did the math, and on average, it'll be like every 3 months we get one drop, right? So maybe who knows? Who knows what the cadence will be? Maybe they'll come out with more or less packs at a time. Like, maybe next time they would release 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they should do like a Netflix thing, and every month maybe have a theme. You could put out like 4 Animal Crossing courses, you know?
Yeah.
For the month, you know, shit like that. I don't know.
I love it.
I feel like they could take 8 Deluxe and just run with it for another decade. That's just how I feel.
Just call it 9. You can keep the same engine and just put all new courses in it, and then give us the library of 8 courses and of 8 Deluxe courses if you have save data for it, and the booster pass if you have that. Like, and then you really have like...
That's a fair compromise, yep.
Yeah. You have the base game of 9, you could have 6 GPs of new content, 2 GPs of old content, and then the libraries from the booster pass and 8 Deluxe. Like, that's a lot of courses.
Yeah, and we have the expansion pack, but if they were like, oh, you got to buy it outright for it to carry over, we drop $30. Oh, it's $24.99. We drop that all day long.
Oh, the booster pass?
Yeah, just to make it, you know, movable to whatever the new one was.
Yeah, I think
that's a small price to pay.
It seems like how the expansion pack works is like the SKU for the DLC is still the same. You know what I mean? Like,
you could still purchase it though. It's
I don't know.
downloaded because there's an option that pops up on the left that says this software is included with the expansion pack.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Either way.
when you have the expansion pack, there's a special option that pops up that kind of diverts you from purchasing it. But that's not to stop you from purchasing it outright and having it,
Yeah, that's true.
individually owned. Now, I imagine if you have the expansion pack, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But they just, they want you to be paying to have it. So we'll see how it plays out. But I'm excited to talk about these waves.
To answer your original question, I don't feel like I don't necessarily think that they'll come out with the next main series game before this pass is over. But I could be wrong.
I don't particularly think that they're going to do that, but
That's just the end of next
speculated.
year. I just don't see it.
Yeah,
But maybe I'd be hype if they did.
it's going to be hype times no matter what, dude. We're still sitting here waiting on Steam decks.
No question. There's infinite racing games we can play in the meantime on there.
It's funny that you say infinite because we're about to talk about replayability, but is there anything you wanted to add to the Mario Kart discussion before we move on?
I feel like we had a good little theory craft on that.
Definitely, man. You had some very interesting theories and very good answers to the questions I came with because, I don't know. I'm looking for answers, man. I'm curious what you think and what people think.
Yeah, we all are.
I'm just thankful for what we have right now because
Same.
everything that's coming with 8 Deluxe is fantastic.
Yeah, really enjoying the booster pass. Really excited to see what comes out. And we're going to talk about each and every drop on this podcast, so don't you worry.
Absolutely. But I think it's about time we get into the top 5 most replayable games.
Yep. And I had a very interesting approach to this list, Sterling. Like, I really feel like games are replayable for a lot of different reasons. So I wanted to try and be able to sort of speak to why these games are replayable and maybe contrast and compare them to other games of their same genre.
That sounds like a great time, man. I have a lot of specific reasons for why I pick what I pick, too. You have to constitute not picking other things, honestly, or in my mind.
Yep.
You need to explain why these are on the list, basically.
But you've predicted 2 overlaps on this.
I've predicted 2 to 3.
2
overlaps.
to 3 overlaps.
Yep,
Oh my
that's what
God.
I'm predicting, and we have
All
not
right.
talked about it.
And we don't have a shared honorable mention for once.
Nope.
All right. Well, start it off, man. I have to know what your honorable mention is.
My honorable mention is going to be. Now, this is controversial, okay? I'll get to the controversy later, actually. I'm going to start it off nice and easy with NBA Jam. I'm going to go with Genesis, Super Nintendo, 16-bit era. I feel like NBA Jam is endlessly replayable.
That is not what I was expecting, but that's a great pick.
At this point, you should, though. I've talked about NBA Jam quite a bit. And you're sitting here chuckling, man. What's going on with you?
I love it, dude. And it's funny
something's
because...
up with you.
Dude, no. That game was the predecessor to one of my favorite franchises, which was NBA Street. I love both the NBA Street games, and I feel like NBA Jam was just like the game that started it all.
When I sat down and I thought games that I'm thinking I'm going to have a library of 5 plus an honorable mention, literally. It's going to have to be something I enjoy playing over and over.
I love
NBA
it.
Jam is up there.
That's a great pick.
The satisfaction in every single play on that game, every time the ball is in the mix, it's just fun. So that's what we open up.
That's an awesome pick, man.
Now, what you got, man? I mean, you seem like you got a lot of pent up.
No, dude, I love the NBA Jam pick, man. We don't get a lot of sports franchise games out of you that aren't like Mario sports or that type of stuff.
Or NHL on Genesis and shit that I haven't played since I was younger. Yeah.
But I love that. I'm a big sports game guy. So
that just goes to show that NBA Jam never left me.
Yeah, there's a few classics that transcend sports fandom. NBA Jam is definitely one of them.
And I've said before, everybody's into sports, and I always tell them the same thing. I don't really follow any of it, but if I was gonna follow a sport, it would be basketball. I find it to be the most interesting one. I feel like I'm most impressed by basketball.
Definitely,
It's that way,
Definitely. My next game is not it's not a real sport, but it is a game that is endlessly replayable, and it's my honorable mention. So the game is Rocket League, right? Period. And no explanation needed, but my explanation is the reason it's an honorable mention and not like, I don't know, number 1 or 2 on my list is it exists to be replayed. It's an extremely simple game. There's very few bells and whistles about the game other than cosmetics and things like that. The core mechanical gameplay is the exact same as the day the game came out. And I think there's something beautiful about that because the game will be replayable as long as there are people to play it, right? Because you're never gonna that's the main way to play is just to play online against people. And I think there's just something so simple about that, and something just like being that it's a competition only game, that as long as there are people willing to compete against each other, it will be replayable. Does that make sense?
You could play with bots, but I mean that makes the game more replayable even.
Yes, but like if no one was playing Rocket League in the world but you would not be playing with bots.
No, I mean, like at the end of the day, the ideal experience is online, but there's so many people playing it that we're spoiled. We get right in. And yeah, I mean, I'm totally with you. It's one I considered for the list. It's one of the on the long list. Rocket League was there just because, I mean, it is what it is. It's obvious.
And for some people, this could be CS:GO. For some people, this could be TF2, right? Like,
yep.
Just that competitive, like that competition-based game where there's not even a story to it. There's nothing else going on. It's just PvP.
And that's such a great point because just a disclaimer, I don't have any FPS games on my list. And it's funny because that's some of my favorite games, but I like playing these old hard-ass first-person shooters. That's not to say I'm going to want to take them out with me on a desert island and play them over and over. This list is very specific. I mean, this is shit that we could play over and over, bottom line.
Absolutely.
So the cut is rough, man. It is what it is.
It is. But let's hear about your number 5, bro.
My number 5 is Loop Hero.
And it's so funny. It's so funny that you say this because the game's theme is repetition.
Absolutely.
I think that's really interesting in what makes it replayable.
Yeah.
It's almost designed to be replayable.
Absolutely. It's literally designed to knock you on your ass and for you to jump straight back in.
Yeah.
Kind of like Inscription.
Same deal. Yeah, definitely. I mean, playing the two games so close to each other, like there's a lot of similarities there in just the theme of it. And definitely. You could put that right here on the list, you know, same.
Oh yeah, definitely. Loop Heroes was the obvious pick because I've definitely had so much time with it and have enjoyed it quite a bit. Inscription, though, definitely a lot more full frontal with the cards. I mean, it's actual card play.
Which I love.
Definitely. And you're going to love it even more after you take the moon down.
We're getting there.
But Loop Hero had to be on the list. Yep, the maddening loop. I mean, you love to keep diving back in and keep getting your ass kicked.
Yeah, highly recommend for anyone who hasn't played it.
Absolutely.
So this is a game that has come up in a previous top 5 of mine being nested within another game. But this is something totally off the wall. Sterling, I seem to remember you've never played any text-based adventure games, right? Like sheerly text based.
I used to do the Goosebumps turn to page this for that and turn to page
choose your
that
own
for
adventure
this.
books.
Yeah, I used to do those, but I never really played a lot of any text based computer games.
Well, there's a game called Zork that is the most famous one. That's the one that really
I'm aware of
popularized.
Zork.
It's popularized the genre. That's what I'm coming in with on my number 5 for this list, because of the sheer fact of the game is pretty much endlessly replayable by its very nature. Like unless you have some sort of guide or some sort of insight into everything in the game, there is stuff that you would never find out about this type of game. But it is finite, right? It's not procedural. It does have a finite story and a finite limitation. But I gotta be honest, I had an app on my phone for a long time that had like every text-based adventure game. And man, I used to play the crap out of these games not that long ago. It's a genre that I actually really love that I haven't talked about that much on this podcast. But shout out to Zork. Like, there's probably a few tropes that people listening have heard, like being eaten by a Gru and stuff like that. That is like common fantasy tropes that came from this game. So that's just all I have to say. That's my number 5. Text-based adventure games, Zork, you gotta love it.
I just had a brain blast, bro. Like when you talked about Zork, it was games within games.
You're right. It was in the launch terminal for Call of Duty Black Ops. Like you could just fire up Zork and play it.
Yep, and I was just like, oh, I'm aware of that game because you made me aware of it. How you like that shit, bro?
Yep. Like I said, it's shown up in one of my previous top 5s.
That's wild, dude. My next one on the list, I think this is number 4. I'm going to come out with Rivals of Aether. And I sat here and I thought, should Smash be on the list? Because it's obviously a very replayable game. There's no question about that. Mm-hmm. But I feel like when I think about repetition, I could sit down for like a long ass time with Rivals. But with Smash, I feel like from time to time, I'm like, I need a break from Smash.
Really?
Does that make sense?
Totally.
Something about Rivals, I can keep going with that game. Plus, if you want to get technical, there's a little more content in it than Smash. I mean, there's the story mode and the I feel like an idiot. The tetherball. There's a whole tetherball mode that's really fun. There's a lot of shit to do. Abyss mode. I mean, there's just packed with content, not just fighting people, but there's also that. So Rivals of Aether is, I mean, I could have easily put like Street Fighter on this list, but I kind of thought about the fighting spot and thought Rivals is just, when I play that game, I feel like I'm like wired into the game. Just feels that way.
That's what you want. It just feels right.
One. Yep.
That's a good pick, man.
Thanks, bro.
My number 4, we've talked about it many times. Not the first time it's been on a top 5, not the last. Slay the Spire. You knew it was going to be on my list. It's a roguelike. It's a deck building game. It's hard. It's fun. It's easy to build a crazy combo deck or just a really strong aggressive deck. There's all kinds of different ways to play, even within the confines of characters, like individual characters and everything. So Slay the Spire, Inscription being on this list as well. Just, anything that's a roguelike, Binding of Isaac. I feel like those games just have a huge replay factor. Just by the nature of their sort of procedural generation.
Hey, I mean, I expected it from you, of course. I'm not shocked. But Slay the Spire is fantastic. And more than worthy of being on this list. That's another one of the... Remember I was telling you, a characteristic of these card games is they kick your ass.
No question. And I love that. You
gotta get good. Slay the Spire is no exception, dude. Slay the Spire will kick your ass.
No question, man.
My number 3 is Mario Golf Super Rush.
Amazing pick.
Had to do it, you know why. Because every time I fire up Mario Golf Super Rush,
It feels like the first time.
I was just about to say it's like the first time I fired it up.
It's always fresh. I've taken a little bit of a break from the game. We haven't had our usual Mario Golf update. Of course, now we get to talk about it by default.
You know, I thought about it later, and we didn't cover the Shy Guy thing on the last episode.
Oh.
We should have talked about that because technically now there's like 4 days left for it. You got some
Shy Guy skins.
You got some Shy Guy colors. I mean, I don't know why we didn't talk about it. It's so funny. I took some screenshots for you. I did it in like 3 or 4 matches because I got in with people that were ranked really high and got first. And I'm talking about, I have screenshots for you that are like 100 points.
Oh my God.
3 holes, 100 points.
That's amazing.
Like I just got hit with the multiplier. I was on for like 15 minutes doing that at my scans. It was crazy.
Easy money.
Because I remember being like, oh yeah, I had a good time. You know, 10 matches. That's, I was like, man.
You usually expect to play like, you know, I don't know, 6 to 8, I would say is like a good rough estimate. If you're playing with people around the same, maybe you get 1 or 2 rank bonuses in there. Mm-hmm. Like,
see that the one before this one, I didn't get with any rank bonuses. It was a crawl, you know, where if you lose, you get like 2 or 3 points less than if you win.
Yep.
With no multiplier or whatever. This time, man, you get in with the higher ranked people and you perform, which is funny. I think that pressure makes you perform.
No question.
Because you're like, if I can outdo these people, I can just be that much closer to my goal.
Yep. It's such a nice feeling when you get out and get this massive drop and you skip like a whole section of the rank up. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah. But Mario Golf Super Rush is what this list is made of.
Definitely. Still no overlap yet, man. I figured that's what you probably expected.
Nah, I mean, there's still room for it. I feel like we're in the deepest territory for overlap now. I'm serious.
But you would think this would be on my list, and it easily could have been.
I'm shocked.
I've spent tons of hours on this game. Like, there's no question about it. This, I would say, of Mario sports games, excluding kart games, Super Rush is right up there with Power Tennis on the GameCube as my top time, like, you know, time investments on a sports game.
I think you've told me that before because that's like the only one I haven't played.
Oh my God, it's incredible.
Damn.
I mean, take what you have in Aces and what you have on 64 and split the difference. And I mean, that's literally what you have on the GameCube, man. It's just perfect.
It appears so, bro. I mean, it sounds that way.
That could be on my list too, man. Mario Power Tennis on the Nintendo GameCube. What an incredible game.
So many Mario sports titles could be on this list.
Easily. I mean, you could really have, when you say like, I mean, I feel like this spot can almost be just like dedicated to Mario sports in general. Like,
absolutely.
Amazing. My turn for number 3, right?
Absolutely.
Age of Empires 2.
Knew it was coming.
You knew it had to be on my list. And it's not just on my list. I mean, this has to be one of the most replayable games of all time. It's only been replayed for 20 years. They are still coming out with new content updates for this game 23 years after its initial release date.
Pretty wild.
What more else is there to say?
We're shocked by games that are still getting support from 4 years ago.
No kidding. And this is from Microsoft. This is from Microsoft Software Company. Now, I'm not going to say all of those years were active, right?
Absolutely.
The time between Age of Empires 3 being a bit of a dud, 2007 or so, and then when they really picked back up on AoE 2 with the HD, which was, I don't know, 2015, 2016, something like that. There was a bit of a doldrums in there.
I'll tell you what, though, the player base was active. That's the thing.
The player base was active. In that time, there was fan content created that was eventually added to the main game in later iterations. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, that's crazy.
That's something that we see so much these days, and we love it, dude.
But never from Microsoft, man. That's what still blows my mind.
Definitely.
First party Microsoft game.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I think it's definitely noteworthy. But RTS games in general, I mean, they're just one of those genres that can be endlessly replayed, right? Whatever your poison is, if it's Age of Empires, if it's Civ, if it's, Total War or whatever, there's lots of different ones out there, and lots of people are very addicted to that style of gameplay, and grew up on it like I did. So yeah, definitely deserving of being on the list.
And I saw it coming from a mile away. The next one I have, number 2, is pretty obvious considering today's episode, but that's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yep. Had to be there. Perfectly deserving of its
endlessly
spot.
replayable. I could sit down at any given moment, fire it up, and it's not dull to me.
Yep.
And that's basically what this is about.
The same is true of almost any Mario Kart game at this point.
Definitely. I mean, none of these are anything close to boring or, or just not engaging. They're all fun just off top. I mean, they wouldn't have put a game out that wasn't fun to any degree. So
yeah, that's
Mario
a great
Kart
pick,
8
man.
Deluxe, man. I mean, we're talking about like a 6 games on a desert island situation. MK8 Deluxe is coming.
That should be a list that we do one other day. Top 5 desert island games. That's a good list idea.
I mean, I feel like I've thrown that one around before when we've talked about them, but this almost covers that type of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're always skirting on the edge of this.
With the desert island thing, though, sentiment would suddenly be involved.
No question. It's so much more personal to us. Yeah.
So it's almost like, like top 5 games you'd put in a capsule to preserve throughout centuries,
Yeah, definitely.
But we're down to the wire, bro. You got a number 2?
I do. And this is when you ran this list idea by me, which I immediately responded to this. The first thing that came to my mind is the following game, and that's Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I think that this game could be played by millions for millions of years, and no two people would have the exact same play experience. It's just such a widely variable. It's almost like a choose your own adventure style where there's so much variability with the progression you can take through the story and all the side content there is. And just there's even replay value in not progressing at all. And, save your game, go massacre an entire city, and then, turn your game off. Like that is even its own replay value. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely. I mean, GTA comes up as a first thought when you think about replayability. And it's so funny you said San Andreas, because when I was thinking about San Andreas, because I jotted it down, I didn't think about the single player. I thought about the multiplayer you and I had.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that made me think of the possibilities of the game. Mm-hmm. And that's why it kind of loomed there on the list. It didn't make the final cut. A lot of things don't, but it was there. And for that reason, single player, I mean, the possibilities are endless. But you showed me with the multiplayer that endless goes further.
Yeah.
I mean, you just
even
run
as
around
janky as it
game.
was, like the mechanics of the 2-player were not the most highly tuned, but it didn't matter. We made it work.
Absolutely.
We pushed that game mode to the limit.
We did, and we got a lot of great time out of it. Yeah. And it's very deserving of this list. For my number 1, I kind of am going to do something I've never done before, and it's kind of like 2 games.
Ooh.
I'm sorry I have to do this, but they're 2 very similar games, and I can't pick between one.
Oh, I bet I know what it is.
It's
Please.
Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Has to be.
The first ever tie. I've never done this before, but I
think
to do
it makes perfect sense to me,
I had
man.
to
It
do
really
a tie.
does.
There are two games with very similar styles, but both have different things that attribute to endless replayability. With Stardew, the combat, the rarity drops, you get just the random nature of a lot of things in the game definitely help. Animal Crossing, it's more of a personal thing where not only is the gameplay and every facet of it replayable, but you kind of have this attachment with villagers situation.
Definitely.
To where, it's almost a simulation, right? What gets more endless than some type of life simulation that's fun to play?
Yeah, I totally agree, man.
That's where my head was with this. And I tried to pick between one and couldn't. They're similar, but so different. But they're both deserving. And that's just what it is, man.
That's a good pick, man.
I
figured as much. I definitely could see that coming. And Animal Crossing was a high suspect on my list too. But yeah.
But no overlap.
No overlap.
Wow.
No overlap. Close though. My number one is Smash. Any of them, all of them. Don't pick whichever one you have access to. That's the one that's on my list. Like,
absolutely, dude.
I have talked a lot on this podcast about my love for Smash. Obviously, I'm a casual. I am not competitive with the game. I've never been. But
we're competitive with each other.
We're competitive with each other, definitely. But it's just something that I've always wanted to have in my life. And I've always made sure to have as much Smash accessible as I can. It's my entire purpose for buying a Wii U. It's my entire purpose for buying a Switch in the first place. I mean, there's something about fighting games in general that makes them inherently replayable, right? I mean, that's why people are still playing, games that were developed for arcade in the 80s competitively today, right?
Absolutely.
So Smash just takes that to the highest level because there's such a high skill ceiling, especially when you talk about something like Melee or 64. The skill ceiling of what you can do in the games is very, very, very high. And so that's what brings people to playing the game at a high level, because accomplishing things in these games is what feels so rewarding, and just the memories that it generates, like being able to like have people over or be over at someone's house. Obviously, this is not as much of a thing these days, but go to someone's house or have someone over that I'm not as familiar with or don't know what they play gaming wise, and finding that Smash as a shared love, and then just getting into it, right? Whether it's on their house, my house, like whatever console it is, whatever version's available, like it's always going to be a good time.
Well, no question, man. I mean, Smash is something we both hold close to our hearts. And, I had my specific reasons for picking Rivals over it. Just because I'm looking from the outside in at the game, what's in the game, and,
Definitely.
That type of thing.
But Smash was always going to be number one for me. I thought about making it my honorable mention so that it wouldn't be my number one, but that felt disingenuous.
I didn't have a reason for my honorable mention this time. I fucking love NBA Jam, so there's no real reason for it to be an honorable mention. I just thought I'd come out the gate with something that wasn't too spicy, but then I got y'all cheesed out with it. So
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love that pick. I really do.
I feel a little dirty, I'll be honest with you, about the whole double up on the number one.
Nah. But, dude, I picked an entire franchise. What do you mean? I didn't even pick any one single game title. I just said every Smash
But that was
game.
Emotional, though, when you were like, whichever one you have, that's the one I pick. That was like, that hit home. It hit the heart.
That's true, though. That's the truth. Any Smash that anyone has is worth playing. Like,
same goes for Mario Kart and Mario Tennis and any sport game that has Mario in the title.
I mean, really though, and that's a testament to what Nintendo has done over the years with these games.
Absolutely.
Most of these games don't have a bad iteration. There's some that are better than others and some that people prefer over others, you know, but they're all playable and good.
When are they going to do a Nintendo Sports Collection? Why can't you have your Power Tennis on Switch and Double Dash on Switch, you know?
Don't get me started. That's
sorry,
where my
man.
love. That's where my love for Boo and these sports games came from. Was tennis on the 64 but mainly Mario Power Tennis.
You're a paying customer. I just don't see why you wouldn't get your due diligence.
Hey, I still have my little GameCube disc that's this big that has the tennis ball on it. That's Mario Power Tennis.
What a top 5, bro. I mean, I came at you with it. You immediately agreed, and I'm glad we did it.
Yeah,
because it made for some great talking about some great games. We were all over the place,
like with a lot of different stuff, and there was no overlap.
And there was no overlap. I was completely wrong, which I've been before.
It easily could have been, though, because you were right. Like 2 or 3 of your lists could have easily been on mine for sure.
But it's time to get into a bit of an untraditional 3-shop, because Tyler and I collabed on this, and the collab went in the shitter.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
But, you know, if there's anything we could do, it's damage control. And we put something together. And I think it's something that we decided to do a 3-shop $10 and under special.
Regular price,
but there is a 3-day sale on one of these items that's $10, less than $10 anyway.
Okay.
So Terraria is $9.99 on Steam.
Pick it up.
It's more expensive on Switch, but I mean, dude, if you don't have Terraria on Steam, $9.99 for it it's almost laughable.
It's the preferred way to play it. Mouse and keyboard, I mean, it's unbelievable.
No question. There's a lot going on in Terraria, so it helps to have that interface.
I learned that very quickly when I played on Switch for the first time. I was like, whoa, a lot of different button combinations.
Yeah, PC is definitely optimal, I'd say. Quake, I mean, to this day, dude, all this content that's in it, I know I'm partial to the game, but $9.99, you're getting a lot of content, and you're getting a constantly growing collection of mods and game add-ons.
The Bethesda re-release really breathed new life into the game to the point where I've seen people talking about this besides just like you and our circle, right? Like this game has been reborn. I mean, there's no other way to say it.
Yeah, and I love hearing people talk about Quake. I mean, you know, anytime I come across any content involved in the game, people enthusiastic about it. I mean, it's a great game just to hear people speak about how great it is. You know, everybody perceives it a certain way. But $9.99, we were already talking about how before it got the re-release, $4.99.
That's a steal.
I get that for you. You don't even pay that the $5 difference. You've got all this content.
That's unbelievable.
So I mean, big shout out to
Pay attention, Rockstar.
Absolutely.
And we talked about it's so funny. I feel like we already made this comparison at the time.
We did. I actually think we made this exact direct comparison. But I mean, hey, it's appropriate. Really.
It just shows that it is possible to do it this way.
Definitely. The last game on the 3-shop under $10 list, A Short Hike. Now, I've spoken about this game before. Normally it's $7.99. For 3 days from this date, you can get it for 33% off, $5.35. That's a great deal, but $7.99 is still fantastic. I mean, A Short Hike is a great, great game. If you like Animal Crossing, or you like non-combat but very, you know,
stimulating,
explorative games with a lot of environment, this is for you. I can't recommend it enough. But I mean, hey, look, we came together. We got a 3. The 3's on the shop, and the 3 shop is done, Tyler. And that's what it
painful. It was painful. We really had a hard time putting this together because right now, as of the time of recording, like every sale on the Switch store ends today. Pretty much every single
hours, one. Yeah, like some of the sales probably ended while we were recording.
Yeah, so we'll see. A couple interesting things, Sterling, before we go.
What's that?
By the time the next podcast is recorded, the first wave of Q2 Steam Deck order emails will have gone out. So I don't know for sure if I'm in the first wave. It's unlikely, but this will be my first crack at it.
This
about
is
10 days from today.
This is
9
big.
days. Yeah.
And I'll be coming hopefully soon after, man.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's possible that one of these podcasts, the headline is going to be like, Tyler got his Steam Deck or something.
Tyler got his Steam Deck, yeah.
Steam Deck hands-on, something like that. We'll see.
Absolutely. You can show that bad boy in front of the camera.
Can't wait.
Hell of an episode, though, bro. Gotta say.
Yeah, really excited, man. Looking forward to next episode. We'll have all kind of stuff. Maybe Kirby review. Maybe I'll have ordered my Steam Deck. And who knows what else, man? I feel like there's 50 other things I'm forgetting about.
We'll get it all together, but there's always sure to be a packed program, so there's no worries there.
Yep. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or feedback, please contact us at starroadpodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. Our videos should be on YouTube from here on out, and we're going to be posting clips as well. So for those of you who might not have, an hour and a half to 2 hours to listen to a podcast, but want to keep up with some of these segments and topics, we're going to try and cut up the most interesting stuff, get it up on the YouTube. Sterling's been doing some serious work with that. Thank you for that, bro.
Oh, it's nothing, man. We're going to get on a schedule to where we upload clips on a regular basis, and we'll be smooth sailing right along, man. I mean, it's been pretty seamless rolling out the first few clips and everything, and I think it's going great with the video. We kind of made the transition to a full video podcast, and we're always going to have the full episodes available on the YouTube.
I was just going to say the long form full episodes and the audio versions are never going to go away.
Yeah, and they're never going to be locked behind anything. You'll always have access to the full thing.
Yeah.
Unless you want to watch us bullshit for 30 minutes beforehand, which you probably don't.
No one wants to see that.
No. This is probably quite enough. But it's been a great time today, Tyler. I enjoyed doing this with you. And I truly appreciate everybody listening. Everybody take it easy. Thanks for tuning in.